Hey guys, I wanted to come on here real quick. Today you're going to be doing the same thing. So I wasn't really planning on posting a video, but I have been getting a lot of questions on how to do these and a lot of concern, like I'm a little concerned. So just a reminder, today from 10 to 10:25 for my full virtual kids, I will be available to go over additional problems. For my face-to-face kids, don't hesitate to stop in and get some help. We will be actually moving on tomorrow. So today's the last day that we'll be spending on just this small little topic here with elimination. Tomorrow we do move on. So one thing maybe to help you out on this is the hard part that I've been seeing, even with my face-to-face kids, is when you're looking at the problems, you have to figure out, do you add or subtract? You are not always adding and you are not always subtracting. So the one thing that today or yesterday that we kind of figured out together is if you are looking at your variable and the number out in front of that variable, which is called the coefficient, if they have the same sign, that's the only time you subtract. So if you have opposite signs, that is when you add. So I have 4 more examples to go over with you. If you have pencil and paper, please grab that out. Pause this video right now. Grab out that pencil and paper and please, please, please write these down. This is not really a topic that you can kind of just watch and hope that it all makes sense. You have to actually try this. So let's take a look at number 4 here. And when you are looking at these, first thing, there's 4 steps, don't forget. First step is to make sure that everything is lined up. This one is. Then you have to figure out if you're going to add or subtract. So my x's, I have a 2 and a -5. They're not the same number, even if they were the opposite signs. For my y's, I have a -3 and a -3. So my y's are what I'm going to eliminate. So, because they're the same number. Now, they are both negative, so they're both -3s. They are the same sign, so I am going to subtract. Now, when you subtract, this is where you have to be really, really, really careful. So that's like the main thing, you just have to be super careful. So when you subtract, we do 2 minus -5. Well, 2 minus -5 is the same thing as 2 plus 5. So 2 minus -5 is the same thing as 2 plus 5, which is 7x. -3 minus -3 is the same thing as -3 plus 3, which is 0. It eliminates. That's why we are even doing this problem. Bring down the equal sign. 9 minus 30 is -21. Then to solve for x, you just divide by 7. And you get x to equal -3. Once you solve for one variable, you are not done. You have to plug it back in. All of your answers have to be an x, comma, y. And it has to go in that order. X, then y, with a comma in between in parentheses. If you forget to put it in parentheses, Go Formative's going to mark it wrong. If you put y out front, Go Formative's going to mark it wrong. Once you find x, then you do need to plug it back in. And you can pick whatever equation you want to plug it back into. Let's plug it into the top one. So the top equation says 2x minus 3y equals 9. So I'm going to take the x and plug it in there. So I do 2 times -3 minus 3y equals 9. 2 times -3 is -6. And then you just have to solve your equation here. So add 6, -3y equals 15. Divide by -3, and you get y to equal -5, which is great. So your final solution then is always going to be x, comma, y, so -3, comma, -5. That is your solution to the system. Yes, these are a little bit of work. That's kind of the junky part, but you've got to do it. You've got to figure out how to do these. We have another way to do them starting tomorrow, and then we have story problems with them as well the next day. So we've got to make sure we've got this down. Number 6, let's take a look here. Everything is lined up, which is great. That's what you always need to start out with, making sure they're lined up. Once they're lined up, then you need to determine whether you are going to add or subtract. So My x's are not the same number. My y's are, though. I have a 3 and a 3. Now, to figure out if we're going to add or subtract, do we have same signs? We do not. This is a -3. This is a +3. If they're same signs, you subtract. They're not the same sign, so you are going to add. So we're going to add vertically. 2x plus 1x is 3x. -3 plus a +3 is 0. So you don't write it. Bring down your equal sign. 14 plus -11 is 3. Then divide by 3, and you get x to equal 1, which again is great, but that's not all you need. Now you need to plug it back in. Pick whatever one you want to plug it back into. Just for fun, I'll plug it into the bottom one. So the bottom one says x plus 3y equals -11. Well, x is 1, so now I have 1 plus 3y equals -11. Subtract 1. 3y equals -12. Divide by 3, and we get y to equal -4. So again, the solutions, though, need to be written like this. So parenthesis x, comma, y. Okay, let's look at another one. I've got 2 more. And I know that some of you already know what you're doing, but I do want you to make sure that you are watching this to really make sure you know what you're doing. So for this one, if you take a look here, my x's this time actually have the same number, so that is what I'm going to use to eliminate. Now, the main thing to remember, if they have the same sign, then I'm going to subtract. This is a negative, this is a positive. They are not the same sign, so I know that I'm going to add. -3 plus 3 is 0, so they eliminate. That's the whole reason we're doing this. -4 plus -1. -4 plus -1 is a -5y. Don't hesitate to get your calculators out. No one's going to judge you. I'm definitely not going to judge you. If you don't know how to add and subtract positives and negatives, use your calculator. And then bring down the equals. -1 plus -4 is again -5. And then divide by -5, and you get y to equal 1, which is great. But once again, you're going to get sick of me saying that. That's not all we're trying to find here. Now you need to take the 1 and plug it in for y. So be careful, because the last 2 problems we've plugged in for x. Now we are plugging in for y. So I'm going to plug it into the top one. Top one says -3x minus 4y equals -1. I'm going to take the 1 and I'm going to plug it in right there. So we have -3x minus 4 times 1 equals -1. Multiply that and you get -3x minus 4 equals -1. Add 4. -3x equals 3. Divide by -3. And you get x to equal -1. So now, again, you write this as x, y. So -1, 1. Last one. We have 6x plus 5y equals 4. 6x minus 7y equals -20. So my x's match up, and they are the same sign. They're both positive. So if they're same sign, you subtract. So I draw my line in my massive subtraction sign, the obnoxious subtraction sign, so I know I'm subtracting. 6x minus 6x is 0. 5 minus -7. 5 minus -7 is the same thing as 5 plus 7, so it's 12. Equals 4 minus -20, double negative is a positive, that equals 24. Then divide by 12. 24 divided by 12 is 2. And again, that's y is 2. So now to plug it back in, we have to plug back in for y. So I'm going to plug it into the top one. Top says 6x plus 5y. Well, y is 2 equals 4. 5 times 2 is 10. So 6x plus 10 equals 4 minus 10. 6x equals 4 minus 10 is -6. Divide by 6, and you get x to equal -1. So again, to write the solution, it's always x, comma, y. All right. Please, please, please log in. Check out the Go Form today. I'll be keeping an eye on that. And don't forget that I am available today from 10 to 10:25 a.m. for any additional questions or some extra help.